live from, not from YMSL Studios, actually on location at Fireman's Field. I'm your host, Bobby Marabia, with our special Shavuot edition of the Doug Less Report. And as usual, Norman, now to my right, not to my left, and Norman.
That's right. Whole
Norman,
different dynamic here.
Yes. Norman, welcome back. And we got so much to talk about. Unbelievable action yesterday.
Every week it gets better and better. First of all, I love being on location over here at Fireman's West, the site of where the World Series will be, I assume, where the World Series was the last few years. So with 2/3 of the season in the books, Bobby, 12 of 18 games, now all teams are focusing on the postseason. Every team alive, very much alive, especially after the action this past week.
Yeah, isn't it amazing? Now we're starting to see teams are starting to really, you're starting to see who the good teams are and the not so good teams. But ironically, the last 2 weeks, everybody sort of got closer to the race. There's really teams that are a game apart from the last playoff spot.
Well, the biggest development is that the Rockies really separated themselves from the rest of the league with that big sweep over Helter Skelter. Both teams were 7-1 entering last week, and the Rockies swept them. So they have
without JT, we might add.
Without JT, they have the clear and obvious inside track on that one bye this year. Very different than previous years. Only one team gets a bye, so it's a real battle, and they have the inside track. So that was the biggest development, in my opinion, after last week. This week, the biggest development, I think, is the fact that the old men of summer are very much alive after a huge sweep over the Untouchables.
We're going to talk about all the matchups, but we almost had, if it wasn't for an amazing comeback by the Brooklyn Dodgers in the bottom of the 7th, we would add a 4-way tie at 4-8, and actually one of those teams would have been the final playoffs spot, which is amazing. It's like the NBA Eastern Conference, you know.
And Bobby, don't forget about the Legion of Boom. 3-9.
Yeah.
Right there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They had a lead in the 7th inning, the bottom of the 7th.
Crazy.
They would have won. They were 4-8. They would have been 4-8 and tied with all the other teams for that final spot.
You know, Albert said something in the beginning of the year. He said the last few years, nobody was eliminated until the last week of the season. So I thought this year was looking like it was going to be different. But maybe not.
Well, Well, you know, we also had 2 teams at 7-1, which you don't usually get. So you're gonna obviously 2 teams 7-1. You're gonna have 2 teams probably at the other end of the spectrum. But now Helter Skelter cooled off a little bit, and it's the last 3 weeks are really gonna be something exciting. And
you had to know Helter Skelter was gonna cool off. Any team with Douglas Dweck starts off with a bang, with the screaming, "We're tremendous! We're this, we're unbeatable!" And then they come down to earth by the middle and end parts of the season. They're still a good team, of course. But with Doug, you're never going wire to wire. Everyone knows that.
Now, since we're live on location at Fireman's, why don't we start off with that amazing. First of all, let's talk about the crowd yesterday.
Unbelievable. You finally got good weather.
We had an amazing weather. We actually, we had to move the game here because of the incredible demand for tickets. And you brought in some of Cleveland's finest. LeBron on his day off came in. Didn't even throw out the first pitch.
No, Manziel. Manziel was here.
Unbelievable. LeBron was not too happy about that. But unbelievable turnout yesterday. And, of course, the Rockies were in town. And they had their own people. Elway was in before he had to leave early. Son got arrested, but we won't talk about that. But unbelievable, and it was great for your team to get a real test against the 9-1 Rockies.
Yes, we were excited to play a really good team in the Rockies because we feel good about ourselves despite our average record. We were 5-5 coming in, but we feel like we're a lot better than that. And now the big bad Rockies, winners of 9 of 10, 8 in a row. Pull into Cleveland, and we were very excited to play them.
With the return of JT, so back they had a full team yesterday.
And JT played a hell of a game, by the way. Right. He was on base all day long, made some nice throws from center field. He played a really strong game. By the way, in Major League Baseball, very coincidentally, this from Sonny Shalom, the Rockies played the Indians.
Oh, really?
Not exactly a Cubs, Cardinals, Yankees, Red Sox matchup. Rockies, Indians happens.
But I think the attendance was higher than YMSL for that match.
It probably was. By the way, the crowd here yesterday was wild.
Yeah.
Kids, wives, grandparents. I mean, when you have a game local and the weather is so perfect and you have good teams playing, it's a good formula.
So let's start off with game one. I'll tell you one thing about your team. Anybody who comes to watch an Indians game is getting their money's worth. Odds are it could go into extra innings, low scoring, tight affair, and again, yesterday was no different.
I told my team after the game to fast forward for a minute.
By the way, also the return of NRJ yesterday from the DL.
Yes. A brief stint on the DL. I haven't caught yet, but I DH'd. You know, anytime you have a DH like me in the lineup, it's potent. But Bobby, I never saw so many games in one season, so many nail biters like what the Cleveland Indians have had this year. Every single game is tied into the last inning. Even a game we lost 7-2, it was 1-1 going into the last inning. I mean, extra inning games all over the place. So we're definitely battle tested.
Across the league also, there's been an unbelievable amount of extra inning games and walk-off victories this year. So it's been really tight. So game one, how did it start off?
Game one started off very well for Cleveland. We took an early 3-0 lead. And then they came back with 2 quick runs due to some shoddy fielding by the Tribe. Unorthodox of the Tribe, but we got off to a little bit of a slow start in the field. And it was a tie game pretty late, 4-4, and Lee Zakaria got a big knock to make it 5-4, and we ended up winning 6-4. Great defense all around after the first inning of the game. And very well played game. No arguments, no fighting, no nonsense. It was just a clean,
we'll leave that
tight
for Fireman's
game.
East.
We heard it at Fireman's East while we were on Fireman's West.
So that was a big victory. I'm sure your team must, you broke an 8-game, actually a 9-game winning streak for the Rockies. They lost the first game.
We couldn't remember. We didn't know if it was game 1 or game 2.
No,
but
they
you're
lost
right.
the first game.
It was
so
game
a
1.
9-game winning streak, and you guys broke the streak. So you really must have been thinking sweep. And I'll tell you, the unheralded player on your team to me is Murray Zolta.
Unbelievable.
He's hitting to all the fields. He's getting big clutch hits.
He's an unbelievable player, both sides. Great fielder, covers a ton of ground, catches everything, and in the batter's box, whatever he's batting, he should be batting 200 points higher with the amount of times he got robbed this year. There's always a guy on each team that gets snake bitten. I'm telling you, Bobby, every time he's up, he smacks the ball, and they make every good play on the other team is off of his bat.
He's still hitting almost 400, maybe.
I think he's over 400 now because in the last 3-4 games he went nuts. He went 12 for 13 or something crazy like that. Great guy, great teammate also. Very good guy.
Great guitarist also.
Yes.
Played,
Murray Zolta Music at Gmail.
Let's talk about game 2 now. Another barn burner. We're getting updates.
Great game. Game 2 was unbelievable, really. We scored 1 run in the top of the first.
Wow, really? That early, huh?
We should have scored 3 or 4 runs. We had men on. We ran ourselves out of the inning. They scored 1 run in the bottom of the first.
Wow.
And they should have scored 3 or 4 runs. They had a double play where a shallow fly ball to center, bases loaded, nobody out.
Wow.
Shallow fly ball to center, 1 out. Play at the plate, the guy's safe, but he didn't slide. He barreled over Ralph Chira.
Oh,
2 outs. They called him out.
Who's that?
It was Ralph Hannon. He was very apologetic because his team didn't tell him to slide. He didn't know there was a play at the plate.
Oh, really?
He knew. Not even an argument on the play.
And lucky he wasn't thrown out. If Terry was there, he might have been thrown out.
Right. And it was Ralph Chira was down for a little bit, and the score should have been 3 or 4 all at the end of 1, but it was 1 all, and it stayed that way until the bottom of the 6th. Top of the 7th, excuse me. They had the top. They scored 1 run in the top of the 7th, and then we had bases loaded, 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. With Norman Gaz up. Norman Gaz did have a walk-off hit for us this year against the Cardinals, but he was unable to come through this time, so we lost 2-1.
Now let's talk about that situation. I mean, Norman Gaz, known more for his glove than his bat. Was there any opportunity with anybody platooning with him, or?
He was platooning with Mark Nardea. because Norman Gaz had the walk-off hit and has actually had a few clutch hits this year, I felt I wanted to ride him and go with that, because sometimes you get a guy that just gets every big hit for you, you know? And it's tough. You keep putting him in that position. It's baseball. You're not going to come through every time. So
you popped up to end the game, and you got the split.
Yeah.
So the Rockies got to be happy, to get the split after losing game one, because they usually could have lost 2 games. But the funny thing about your team, and I've watched a lot of your games, I mean, you're right now, 500, 6 and 6. A couple of things either way. You could have been 9 and 3 or 3 and 9.
It's crazy, Bob. It's crazy.
You know,
every game is a one-run game. I think it bodes well for us if we get to the playoffs.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We're tested, you know?
I was going to say, because that's what playoff softball is in the YMSL.
For sure.
Low scoring, defense, pitching, so...
And let me tell you something. We lost some games this year that teams don't lose. Just really tough. We take a lead in the 13th. We blow it in the bottom of the 13th, things like that. Nobody points their finger. Everyone is very, very together. We've been through everything now. We just have to get into the playoffs, and then we'll be a really tough out.
Yeah, no, and right now you're right in the middle of it, actually, at 6 and 6. I think you're in 4th place. So you really got to be excited about your chances right now.
I love this team. I'm telling you, I love this team. I think we're going to win it. I really do.
Mikey, once again, putting up big numbers.
Phenomenal.
Zeros up there, so your defense is solid, as we mentioned. So we'll see. So we'll talk about your next matchup next week. Now, let's shift
One thing about Mikey, I got to tell you, because we have a really good defense. We really do. But nobody's perfect, and this past week we made a bunch of errors. The guy goes straight to the rubber, doesn't point fingers at anybody, takes the ball, pitches, and gets the next guy. It's really a good message for the rest of the team to see that no one's going to fight with each other after somebody screws up a high pop or a ground ball or whatever it is, you know? He goes right back and he does his job. It's very, very good to have a pitcher like
down
that.
Mikey Shalom.
He's always been great with his team. You mess with him as the umpire or the opponent, you're in trouble, you know? He's a tough guy, but what a teammate he is. Amazing.
Yeah, and very soft-spoken off the field. He's a completely different character. Now let's shift over 100 yards to the east.
Yes.
For a classic matchup yesterday, and as they say, I went to a boxing match and a softball game broke out.
Right.
But
that's a good one.
We had the Cardinals with Eddie Michon.
Okay.
And the Astros with Maurice Haber.
So Ali Frazier.
Yeah. Now, actually, the umpires had to draw straws for that matchup, and unfortunately, the two that lost really paid their dues yesterday. The Astros came in 7-5, no 6-4.
Right.
And the Cardinals came in after sweeping Brooklyn Dodgers last week, 5-5.
Cardinals split the first week.
Yeah.
After that, they got swept, they swept. They got swept, they swept, and now they got swept.
Yeah. Very, very up and down team. You really don't know what you're going to get with that team. They had the return of Louis Patesh, who ironically, which is an amazing stat, is leading the league in hitting.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What's he batting?
560 or something like that.
Well, Joseph Jamal right on his tail at 500.
Oh, really? Yeah, I was told today by the Elias Sports for only 2. Well, now you tell me, Bob, there's only 3 guys hitting 500 or over.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and 2 of them are on the Cardinals. You have Louis Patesh and who's the other guy?
It's got to be Eliezer or Michon.
No, it's not Eliezer or Michon. Who's the other guy on the team that's
Brackett?
No.
Something.
Who's the center field on that team?
Nathan? Oh, Zolta. Nathan Zolta.
Nathan Zolta. Having the monster year, Nathan Zolta. So they had a full team finally, and I'll tell you, you can say all you want. There was a lot of things happened in that game that the umpires affected the game. But once again, the Astros found a way to win, and which they do. They somehow do, and I'll tell you, for some reason, I'm not sold on the Astros yet because I haven't seen them. First of all, I haven't played a great opponent yet. So, when they play a great opponent, And I don't know if you're gonna win these type of games in the playoffs. It's just these 8-6, 7-5. They haven't really shown me yet that offense.
You haven't seen a complete game from them.
No.
You haven't seen
they played against you great, but again, their offense should expect a lot more. And Eshko's, I guess, been holding his own, but we'll have to see. Yesterday, I don't know if Farker was injured or not, but he played left field.
Yes, he was injured.
So he played left, and Sonny's in center.
And Sonny's in center, and Farker played a huge role in left field in that game because, as you're about to get to, there was a man on first in John Eliezer, base hit to left, with 2 outs in the last inning.
The last inning, 4-2 game, or was it 4-3?
I think it was 4-3 at this point.
4-3. The base hit, Eliezer went from first to third, standing up
on a play to Farker. Farker threw the ball to third.
Yeah. And apparently he was tagged out, and he didn't slide. I didn't get all the details. It depends. You ask about it, but they said he went in standing up. Whatever the case, maybe they exploded. They told the umpire to go home. I mean, this is one of those.
Well, there's a few things before we even get to the explosion. You can't make the last out of an inning at third, let alone the last out of a game at third, especially to a ball that's in left field. So when you're rounding second, it's right in front of you.
Right.
Farker, you got to know, has a cannon.
Right.
And he's throwing from left to third base. He's going to make that throw. And then finally, if you are going to third, you got to slide at third base.
Right,
There's no excuse for that.
Yeah.
What are you standing up for? Impossible to be standing up. Now, I wasn't there. I didn't see the call. So I don't know if it was a good call or bad call. But it sounds like he was called out. He didn't slide. And that Michon and everybody went nuts.
Yeah, that definitely exploded. But I noticed also last week, I was wondering, Murray Zolta a couple times didn't slide. Does he not slide?
Murray Zolta did not slide. We don't know why he didn't slide.
On like real sliding situations like this.
Like bang bang play and he walked into the guy.
Yeah. So
I don't know why he didn't slide.
Scared to slide, don't know how to slide, whatever the case may be, but it's a problem. So that was the first game. And then one of the umpires had to leave, they had to go, and guess who was playing the mediator out of all this? If you had to guess.
I can't imagine.
If you had to guess, calm, classy, down to earth guy, Maurice Haber was.
Well, he got the call. Of course, he's calm and classy.
As a matter of fact, one of the umps told Maurice, the only reason you're doing this is because you got all the calls are going your way.
Right.
So even they notice it.
I love it.
They see right through Maurice. So he brought back the ump, and it was game 2, another 1-run game.
But even some guys from the Cardinals felt that Michon went a little too far, and that he lost it a little bit. I understand it's a game on the line, but it sounds like he got a little crazy with the umpire.
Yeah.
I don't know what your position is on this.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, there's 3 sides to every story, so we don't really know what happened. And when 2 of the sides are Maurice Haber and Eddie Michon, it's really 25 sides.
Right.
It's really all over. But they ended up winning another game, and another incident happened where you heard about this one.
What?
In the 7th inning of this game,
I didn't hear.
Maurice Haber was on first.
Yeah.
Grounder to Eliezer. He throws to Bawabe.
Second.
Bawabe turns to get the double play. It was Jay-Z with the ball, so it was an easy double play, no speed. And Maurice Haber standing up and then slides, and Bawabe couldn't make the throw. So another incident that happened, which caused the umpires to, caused the players to go out.
So what's the call? You got to make the throw, and he's supposed to dunk.
He's supposed to. He didn't make the throw, and he didn't call.
So he's safe.
He's safe. That's what happened. So they got upset about that, but they ended up sweeping. So now they're sitting at 8-4.
But not just sweeping. In that inning, Jack Zolta got a huge hit, from what I understand. But now you're saying he ground. It was a fielder's choice.
The inning before that, or
right. In that last inning, they were actually losing the Astros. They had a walk-off win here.
Oh, you're right. It was a 6-5 game.
Yeah.
Right at the bottom.
It was a back and forth game. The lead changed in the last few innings a few times.
I believe Albert Levy got a big hit that inning too.
Albert Levy led off the inning. Jack Zolta got a humongous hit. Louis Mastery was involved in this rally as well. He's playing a huge role for that team. That's at the bottom of the
order right there. Yeah.
And then Sonny Shalom gets up and
it's
a rocket walk-off hit.
Now, we should mention that Sonny a week ago was up with the bases loaded, 2 outs. and fly it out to center field to end the game. So,
But he hit it well, from what I heard. Were you there at that one?
No.
Okay, I heard he hit it well, and the center fielder, made a nice play.
Yeah. I heard from Sonny he smoked a line drive, and I heard from other guys the other team's a routine pop-up.
Right.
The way the story goes.
But this time, it seems like there was no two ways about it. It seems like it was a clear...
Well, I believe the outfield was playing in.
Right.
It was less than 2 outs, so I think he hit it over the head. Didn't even move. Heartbreaking loss. And I'll tell you, the Cardinals have been involved in a lot of crazy games, a lot of crazy situations, and
so have the Astros.
Yeah, the Astros, a lot of one-run games you mentioned, and long games. So we have to see the schedule when they're going to really start playing some of the better teams.
There's only 3 weeks left,
Yeah,
so who didn't they play? I don't know.
They play the Cardinals or the Rockies. I mean, the Rockies or the
or Helter.
Or Helter.
So they have a tough schedule ahead. I'd love to see the former Expos paying dividends in Sonny and in Jack Zolta, our hitting instructor last year. So great to see those guys. And like you said, it wasn't Saban, Farka, Big Sawley, Haber, all these guys. Morris. By the way, Morris got injured in this game.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to watch that. He's day to day.
And more the words of Vince Scully.
All right, aren't we all? So,
by the way, I spoke to Lars. He's fine. It's just bruised. No breaks or anything like that. I anticipate seeing him back in the lineup next week. That's a huge gap to try to fill.
Huge, unfillable. You can't replace him at short.
Shortstop, backup shortstop. Maurice played short actually.
That's terrible. Come on, not a shortstop. I love Maurice, but come on.
So they got the sweep, and they had to be ecstatic about that.
And they pulled into a tie
with
Helter Skelter. They're right there.
Yeah. So now let's shoot over to Memorial One. Speaking of Helter Skelter, playing the Hebrew Nationals, really going unnoticed, but another feisty game, I might add. A lot of testy back and forth, and between A.B. Saka and Henry Shalom.
Henry's having his share of feisty games this year.
Yeah.
He's, everyone thought he was this nice, innocent, but if he doesn't get his way, he's always screaming.
Yeah.
Let us not forget the debacle with All In last year, when Henry and Maurice Haber and those guys completely lost it, despite the fact that their team had the most amazing comeback I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
When Jackie Haber was leading off. So these guys got to learn how to cool it on the field. You don't always get your way. You got to play the game.
But A.B. Saka, extremely competitive, intense. He was a madman out there, and that team all of a sudden is, they don't have is built a little bit like your team. Not much of an offense, nobody to really scare you in the lineup. Great defense.
Exactly, and A.B.
A great pitcher. A.B.'s phenomenal this year. Maybe definitely MVP type he is offensively, and his defense has been lights out. And A.B. Saka elevates his team to another level. It's unbelievable.
He's a phenomenal pitcher. I've always loved A.B. Saka.
Yeah. And he gets better as the season goes along.
Always. That team that got to play him the first week and they mercied him, Legion. Sure. How lucky are they played him week 1? You can't play this guy when it gets hot out.
He starts humming now.
Oh my God, he's a phenomenal pitcher.
And they're young and athletic. I mean, this guy Roditi, I think he's a great athlete, playing very well in the outfield. Moko, he's playing very, very good also.
Morris Casson. Very good team. I liked it all.
Yes, very young team. And they won the first game. And all of a sudden, Helter Skelter was on a 3-game losing streak.
Yes.
We might add, Helter Skelter played without Albert Gamal.
Why was that?
He had some sort of affair in Long Island, which I'm sure he was not too happy about.
Wow.
He does not like to miss games.
Wow, Long Island. Wow.
Yeah,
beautiful Sunday morning.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Not fun.
No, Gamal was not happy to be out of the lineup.
Well, that's a big loss for them. I didn't know that. That's a huge loss out of that lineup.
Well, listen, everybody's playing with every week a key guy. I mean, the Untouchables have played without Joe Cheer for 2 weeks. They play
maybe 3 weeks Untouchable. He's missed a lot of games. Every team has missed main guys.
JT missing games. So listen, you got to pick up the pieces. So they lost the first game, and A.B. was on fire. I mean, he was really intense. A couple of Mars, A.B. Cohen made great catches in the outfield. Started a couple of rallies with hits, and so they're definitely. I'll tell you one thing. I guarantee you, nobody's going to pick A.B. Saka if they had their in the first round.
No.
So they can tell you. You know, their lineup might be weak, but that's one team they're not going to want to play in the first round.
There's a few teams, but you know what? We don't know who's going to be picking anyway. But you're right. You never want to face him in the playoffs.
He's going to be one of the teams in the wild card, most likely.
Right.
So.
By the way, the week before he played the Astros on Memorial 3, right? And they really should have swept the Astros. The Astros salvaged the split because they scored 5 runs in 1 inning based off of 2 or 3 errors in a row. A.B. Saka really shut down the Astros over the course of 2 games. Well, that's how I saw that game.
Well, let's not forget, honestly, I mean, you could have swept the Astros easily.
Very easily, but we didn't, so we have to give them credit.
And boys of summer, no doubt about it, should have swept them. Jackie had to play on one leg in the extra innings, and so they easily, they're 8-4 now, but so they got to really show me something, that they're for real.
But like you said, it's every team. Like you said, my team could be 9-3 or 3-9.
So
but they find a way to get it done. I think this was the Astros, to go back there, this was their best win because it came, like you said, from the bottom of their lineup, Louis and Zolta and all these guys, and then culminating with Sonny Shot. But back to A.B. Saka and A.B. Cohen.
So they won that first game, and I don't even know all the details of the game. To speak to anybody about the
well, I know that Helter was panicking a little bit. They had a little bit of a 3-game losing streak, but they have a great record. They're fine.
Yeah.
They're and they managed to pull this out.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure they got to be happy without Gamal there to be in that situation. I'm trying to remember who played left field for them.
It's crazy because Max now plays short because Hank can't play short.
But that's really not losing. I think your defense got actually stronger because Max is a great shortstop.
He really is.
He doesn't have the range, but now you put Henry at second base. I mean, it's ridiculous. And he's getting healthier each week. And Spee is having a great year at shortstop. At short center. And we said.
Let me think who the center fielder was. Oh, Eli.
Oh, Eli Herrera's in center. It could have been one of the young kids. Elliot Saka played right.
Oh, maybe they had that extra right fielder, so maybe Elliot Saka played left. I don't know.
Tabelli.
Oh yeah, Tabelli. Oh, you're right. Elliot Saka played left, and Tabelli played.
Eli played center.
Gotcha.
Right. So so they pulled that one off. Another guy who didn't play yesterday, really is a very, very good young player, Zach Goldberg. In my opinion, is going to be a shortstop in this league in the very near future. Great fielder, and he was out sick yesterday, but that's another name to look out for in the near future. Let's shoot over to Memorial 2, where you had the old men of summer.
Here we go, the game that I've been waiting for. I was waiting for you to get
versus the Untouchables.
Wild game.
Now, the Untouchables, an amazing story. They started out 2-0, and everybody said, wow, you look at this team, we had them all misunderstood. Everybody, a great young talent,
right?
And they're struggling immensely. I mean, first of all, the first few weeks they had guys missing, but now the last guys have been there. Ironically, Chucky was not there yesterday.
Oh man,
Chucky was in Tel Aviv.
Yes, Chucky is another scouting mission for Chucky.
Yes, we're going to see a lot of Avis in the league next year.
Yes.
And,
that team needs Chucky, by the way, because they're a little
100%.
insane, and they need Chucky's also a little insane, but they need him there because he knows the game. He tells them what to do. He tells them to shut up because they never shut up. This team, they keep yapping.
Yeah.
Between DK and Mark and all these guys, they never and Jacobatti.
Yeah.
So Chucky once in a while will tell them shut up and let's play the game, and they need that. But I can't look at Untouchables right now. We got to talk about the old men and what ensued on the mound yesterday.
Well, as the old men go, we don't know who's on the mound from a week-to-week basis.
The best thing, Bobby, is the carpool that comes from Brooklyn, which is the Battery. So most teams that carpool with the Battery, it's a 2-person lift. This team comes with Bruce Wortman, the catcher, Ike Mavora, the original pitcher, Salim Levy, the backup pitcher, and Nemi Katz, the third pitcher. So all 3 pitchers and Wortman come together from Brooklyn.
So you think they'd figure out you have a starter, middle reliever, and a closer?
Exactly. Well, actually, they did have a closer, and that's where all the controversy begins.
So it looks like Mavora's not even in the loop anymore, so he's not a pitcher. He's a full-time outfielder now.
But let's say they, by the way, they swept.
First of all, let's look at both sides of the story. Old Men of Summer, basically, yesterday was their whole season.
They ended the game 2-8.
2-8. You have a chance against a team that's struggling. You really can ill afford a split, or a sweep would have been disastrous. So they came in with a must-win situation. Gave the ball to Nemi.
Right.
Which, a gutsy call, no question about it. He was struggling the last time I saw him pitch. He didn't, but I guess he's good for one game. I think the mindset was Nemi for one game
and Salim for another game.
It was a hot day yesterday.
You also got to put into account that if you pitch Salim, he can't play third base.
Yeah.
And it's a big, big position to lose a third baseman because he's on the mound all of a sudden. So that's why Salim and Nemi are the same, let's say. You go with Nemi in that case, if they're the same. Now, Nemi pitched the game. I think it was a 4-2 ball game.
4-2 lead. He did good. I guess he got it. He got out, but it seemed like he was always behind.
He walked 8 guys in the game.
Oh, was that many?
Yeah, he walked a lot of guys.
Is that a fact, or is that Mavora telling?
No. He walked 8 guys. I checked the stats.
He has a tendency to jack up.
I hear you.
Okay, so there's 8 guys.
By the way, they scored early. The Old Men.
8 walks is like Mavora type numbers, actually.
It is like Mavora type numbers. They did their lineup a little different. They let off Salim. Yeah, they went straight to their hitters. Salim, maybe Mavora 2, and then Steven Safdie 3, and then Nemi 4.
Right, Nemi was the cleanup hitter. So.
I guess Nathan 5, I assume. I don't know, but they put all their hitters right out the box. Forget the table setters. They went straight to the middle of their lineup, and they scored 3 runs in the first inning. They took a lead. They were holding, I think it was a 2-run lead entering the last inning. It ended up being a 1-run lead with men on, and Nemi pitching. He actually got 2 outs in the inning. So now we're talking 6 2/3 innings pitched by Nemi.
Well, there was a couple of guys on. Were they walks? The guys that got on?
There was men on second and third. I think I'll check the app later to make sure, but I think it was a walk and then a hit.
Okay,
men
so
on second and third.
2 outs. I know it was the hitter before Joe Cheer, because I believe Joe Cheer was on deck.
It was DK back from his suspension.
Right.
He's back and playing again, and after DK is Joe Cheer or Jacobatti. It's trouble, So 3-1 count. Now before this at bat, Ike Norwood was lobbying for Nemi to be replaced. Nathan, the other captain in left field, was iffy. Mavora, the third captain in right center, wasn't sure. No, there's 12 captains on the team. No one knows, who's really calling the shots over there. And finally, Salim and Norwood, with a 3-1 count to DK, met at the mound and pulled Nemi out of the game. 6 2/3 innings pitched. Men on second and third, season on the line, 4-3 game.
Yeah. I wonder, do you get 8 pitches to practice? Or no, do you get any practice pitches?
I assume you get to practice. Yeah, you replace the pitcher.
We have to find out about that one, if they're allowed to practice pitches.
You got to get some pitches to practice new pitcher.
I've been doing this a long time. I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher replaced in the middle of the count.
In the middle of a count, no injury.
Right, I mean, just like that in the 7th inning, almost unheard of.
2 outs in the 7th inning.
So nonetheless, it was 3-1. So DK ended up walking, so the bases were loaded now.
Well, Salim came in.
Yeah, Salim came in.
I believe Nemi gets credit for the walk because he had 3 balls.
Yeah.
So Nemi gets, maybe that was the 8th walk.
It could have been, yeah.
And then Joe Cheer is up, and Salim got Joe Cheer and hit a fly ball.
He flied out to right field.
But they lost Nemi. He walked off the field. He's very upset at his team.
He was steaming. I saw him. As a matter of fact, when I got there, the game was still going on. I see him walking past past the outfield towards Memorial 1 as the game was going on.
That's a long walk.
So I knew it was something happened. Either got injured or he was pissed. So, and he was cursing, and I thought he was upset because he found out Donald Sterling made a bid to buy the Boys of Summer.
Old Men of Summer.
So that was not the case, and I got the whole story from him, and I saw his point. The way they did it was not right, honestly, but the way he handled it was 100% wrong. And I told him that. I said, listen, for the team, it's a do or die game. And the egos have to go to the side and all that other stuff. But for him to walk off, I go, it's only going to hurt his reputation in the league, and you know, people don't forget that when you leave your team like that, you know. So.
By the way, if he left the game, he's
Yeah.
not slotted with anybody. So now let's say they tie the game, it goes into extra innings. He's not there. That's an automatic out, 100%.
Yeah, it has to be, yeah.
100%. If the other captain's paying any attention, you're walking guys to get the automatic out in an extra inning game. That's really letting the team
I wonder
down.
if Joe Chira really even thought about that, but if we got into extra innings, it might have been that situation.
Exactly. Now think of how you let your team down in that respect.
Yeah.
Automatic out is a huge, huge factor. But besides for that, you can't walk off the field.
No.
But like you said, they got to handle it a little bit better than that. I think anybody, I know I would appreciate if there was a captain that was a little more understanding and a little more firm. Instead of four or five guys pointing to each other and deciding, should we pull him, should we not pull him, should we this, should we that? Let someone take charge, be a man.
I think one of the things they all admitted is when nobody had the balls, to pull the plug on him.
You know
so
what?
basically, Salim just said they told me to take over, and he took the ball from him. So it was very crass the way they did it. It was not, not handled well. Nobody
But
really
why? If Nathan's in the league 100 years, he's one of the best players to ever play in the league. You know, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a great player. He's been a captain for how long?
Yeah.
Why can't he? Why can't he talk to his pitcher and make a decision?
Well, he did. Listen, with Mavora earlier in the year, he ran in for the outfield, and he told him a couple of times, I got to pull you out. And one more walking you out, and he took him out. Listen, it's hard for any type of guy. Listen, I mean, maybe the Maurice Habers would be good at it, and, just telling a guy to replacing you or whatever the case may be. But I think he's also a little too sensitive, and I think he should understand his team situation a little better.
For sure.
But he's young. He's a young guy, and he didn't handle it right. So he went back to the field in his flip flops, no less. I mean, was not in. And if you speak to Mavora, he was rooting against his team.
You know what? You can't. I'm going over the obvious. Obviously, he handled it the wrong way. And if anyone, anyone that ever played in sports, if a guy walks off your team, you could barely look at the guy.
Right.
It's a real letdown because in this league we're so passionate. Everyone's battling to win. We care so much. You can't have a guy that just walks off the field. Obviously,
Right.
that goes without saying.
Right.
I'm trying to discuss how the old men handled it on that because it is embarrassing to be pulled, and it's embarrassing to be pulled with 2 outs in the last inning and a 3-1 count. I see both sides,
100%,
but
like we said, it's they were both wrong, but he was more wrong for walking out.
He was more wrong because bottom line is the old men were playing for this season.
Right, exactly.
So even though they handled the way they pulled him wrong, you can't say that
Yeah.
pulling him was the wrong move.
Right. Now, had they been 8-2 and they did this,
Of course, and you don't care.
story.
But you're fighting for your season, and
right.
you have 11 other guys there that need this game.
Right.
And they're not caring if Nemi's feelings are hurt or not. They care about winning that game and extending their season, you know?
And they did win the game, and they won the next game, too, with Salim pitching. Really, we could talk about they're right back in the thick of
They're
things
4-8. They have a really good lineup.
And they play the last place team this week, so they really have a good chance to move up.
Unbelievable.
But let's talk about the Untouchables really going south this year after they start out 2-0. Nobody's really stepping up. Jacobati's having a very good year, but everybody's numbers seem to be down. I don't know the chemistry issue over there or what the problem is exactly, but right now, unless they pull it out together very, very soon, they could be one of the teams not looking in the playoffs.
Bobby, I'm shocked at this team's record. I think they have the talent. I don't know what to say about the Untouchables. I am completely shocked that they got swept. That they played so well against my team. They didn't have Chira, and they had 9 guys.
Yeah.
And they made every single play.
Right.
Jacobati, Jaime Shamet, these guys were unbelievable. All of them. They're a good team. I have no idea how this team is 4-8.
Right. Well, again, is it Leo? Is it something? Who knows? If actually, there was an incident with Jacobati yesterday. I don't know if you heard. slid into second, hit the guy's knee, and was knocked out. Hatzalah came.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the cops came. It was the whole thing.
I did not hear. No.
I guess he just got the wind knocked out, but he was a little woozy after the game ended. So Untouchables again 4-8. So now they're technically behind the Old Men of Summer standings. So they really got to turn it around quickly. Hopefully the return of Chucky. I hope he's back this week, but who knows? Shavuot. I don't know if he's gonna miss 2 Sundays. We'll see when he gets
they
back.
do need they need Chucky because he's older.
He keeps everybody.
He keeps it together, and they, you know, they have to listen when he says something, you know. And I'm sure he has his fingerprints all over the lineup and the positioning and this and that. Interesting that they went with 4 outfielders for a portion of this game, I believe.
Steven Safdie was up maybe.
Yeah, and
meanwhile, Steven Safdie the shot. I don't know how many outfielders there were, but it was a rocket.
Did you see the shot he hit at Logan Road?
Yeah. He hit a shot maybe further than that.
Impossible. I mean, he is some hitter.
He's got a tremendous amount of power.
My God.
So, so definitely things are looking a little brighter. Actually, there might be a new addition to Old Men of Summer. They're looking to acquire another pitcher.
Oh.
So, I'm glad
Moses
you asked.
Now?
No.
Red.
No. So they somehow got they called up Rabbi Mevorach and got the draft roster from 1976.
Right.
And acquired the rights to Al Fallis.
What do you
Fallis, 88 years old, pitching in the Marina League in Turnberg.
Marina League.
Marina Machis. So Al Fallis, the newest member of the Old Men of Summer. And tell RBJ to keep his phone on. You never know.
RBJ's been a season ticket holder this year, by the way, and he will be playing in the Old Timers game.
We'll talk about that in the upcoming week, and it's a really Old Timers game. That's going to be.
I heard some of the names on the potential roster, and it's going to be a doozy.
Yeah, but unfortunately, a lot of those guys are still in the YMSL. So
that's true.
So they're going to be playing triple headers.
That's true. It should be the Old Men of Summer versus the other old timers.
Yes, exactly.
RVJ, Jaws, get all these guys back.
The cast of characters is enormous. Now let's shoot over to Memorial 3, where you had another struggling team, the Brooklyn Dodgers, versus
Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom
from Seattle.
So they had to be smiling, thinking they're going to put an end to this their struggling ways.
Yeah.
We mentioned that amazing stat last week. We talked about it. We didn't have the show last week. The first 5 games, they scored 46 runs.
Yeah.
And the next 5 games, they scored 5 runs. So clearly, things are everybody's struggling, including the great Ali Marshall. And he's going to tell you he never hit the ball so hard in his life, and he's not getting hits. And Malak, even though he's hitting 400, they're not getting the big hits when they need it. So they came in. Saka pitched yesterday, and I believe A's is on tap for next week.
Yes.
They lost the first game, and they were so close to getting swept. Legion of Boom put together a great first game. And I'll tell you one thing about that team. They are struggling, but they have fun when they come to the game.
Yeah.
A young team, all into it, all standing up, hitting the fences. Actually, one guy got thrown out. Marcer got thrown out of the game for banging on the fence.
Wow.
Umpire brought him back in. He says, just to stop banging away. But,
oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah. But very young and loud and exciting team. And so they pulled out the first game, and they were very close to sweeping game 2. Had the lead. Saka had a tremendous amount of problems with the ump, with the strike zone.
Mm-hmm. Who was the ump? Do you know?
The ump might have been Hal Schwartz. Hal, the mustache. It doesn't matter. Does it matter who the ump is?
No, it doesn't matter. But
it's always going to have a problem.
But yeah, because I'm trying to think if it's a guy that gives Saka a little leeway to argue, or if it's a guy that's looking for a problem.
Yeah, whatever. They're all looking. I mean, these guys, they take a lot, so I can't even say anything about it. But the way I see it, if it's working, both the calls are going the same for the strike zone for both teams. I really can't say anything.
Right.
So, but apparently Saka was, really getting into it with them. But they scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th to pull out that victory.
Yes.
And none other than another old timer getting the walk-off hit, one Elliot Patesh.
Yes.
with it was second and third, 2 outs, and I forget who they walked to pitch to Elliott.
They walked Labo.
Oh, Labo. Now that's an amazing thing. Labo, the 120th player picked in the draft,
121st, I think.
was
Right? You had it right? It
oh
was
yeah, after you're right, 121st was intentionally walked
unbelievable.
for a Hall of Famer, no less. That's an amazing stat.
You're right. And I don't know how many outs were there?
Well, it was less than 2 because there was outfield was in also.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if I would walk Labo for Elliott Patesh.
Well, the odds are you're not going to double up Elliott Patesh. Had it been the other way around, you might double up Labo on a hard, but he hits the ball so hard, man. I don't know. It's not he's set up to force at any base.
Yeah.
He's not going to hit the ball far. It's not a crazy situation because he might hit a short fly ball that might run, So, but he got a hold of one in the.
Well, he actually pulled the ball, from
yeah,
what I understand.
yeah.
Instead of doing that opposite field thing that he's been
Right.
doing for 30 years, he pulled the ball to get the run home, and he got the job done. And boy, did Brooklyn
they
need
needed
that game.
As we mentioned, it would have been 4 teams at 4-8, which would have been incredibly exciting for everybody.
And they were 4-2, or no? No,
They were 3-1. They were came out of the gate. They were definitely 4-2. 100%.
Wow.
They would have been on a 6-game losing streak.
So they had lost 5 in a row before that. The season's so long now that you could have losing streaks
Yeah.
and winning streaks and rebound from it. It's fun.
Yeah. So, but now you're really getting down to crunch time. Now you really can't get too far away from the pack. I think the best thing that could possibly happen for the rest of the league is if the Rockies just run away with it.
Yep.
End up 14-2.
100%. Every time the Rockies play somebody, the whole league will be
Yeah.
rooting for them. Because you all need that other team.
Because right
to
now
lose.
they're not playing helter skelter. So they're playing teams that are right in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
And so it's really going to help them if they got to continue to win. But
Now, unless you're the Astros, you didn't play the Rockies yet. You're 8-4. You sweep the Rockies. You're 10-4, and you could catch them.
Right.
No one else could really catch them. Helter can't
Right.
catch them. So, besides for the Astros, I think everyone's rooting for the Rockies to just take the bye.
yeah,
And everyone else
run
just
away
wants,
with it.
yeah, and run away with it.
It's,
Exactly.
That's the best thing. Irving, see if there's a blue piece of paper in the card with the schedule on it, or in your phone or something. But we're gonna get in to this week's matchups.
Yes.
Which should be another exciting week.
Let's start with an interesting one. Legion of Boom versus Old Men of Summer. 4-8, 3-9.
Now it's even amazing we're even discussing this game.
I know.
About a week ago, we'd be like, put that at Colt Field, that game, But
Well, Legion won 2 of their last
yeah.
4, and Old Men also won 2 of their last
Yeah.
4. They were both dead in the water, and they're both
and after you
alive.
swept them, honestly, I thought that team was done.
Me
They
too.
were terrible last week.
Yeah, they didn't have Nathan, and they felt it with the positions. They also didn't really have Jackie Haddad.
Yeah, and they really didn't have him this week. Also, he's still hurt,
Yeah.
and he's traveling this week, and he's not going to be here.
But I haven't seen the Legion team at all. Not even one. I saw them for
Yeah.
2 minutes on a Sunday when I played on Monday, but I didn't really watch them long.
Well, a lot of people have, and attendance figures are down 171%.
Well, you know what? They built that stadium with taxpayer
Yeah.
dollars, but the fans are not showing up, so it might get ugly over there.
It's all about W's, the way it goes. So, but this week is like you mentioned, it's going to be interesting who gets the ball for. Well, first of all, it's going to be interesting to see how the Nemi situation resolves. So that's going to be an interesting thing to look out for, and to see if they can pick up where they left off on Sunday and continue playing.
What would you do if you were the management of Nemi's team, of the Old Men of Summer?
I would I would wait for him to apologize, which I think he should clearly do. And I think if you talk to people, they're all going to tell him to publicly apologize to the whole team, not just to the captain, for letting them down.
Right.
That's number one. I think you have to accept it. Listen, in this league, guys have, left teams, they've been upset, they've walked off the field. I mean, you got all
In
types
the
of
old
stuff.
days, they left teams and played for the other team on the spot. It was
yeah.
all,
Yeah.
whatever flew.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's not the way he wants to end his career and be known for. He's a great young hitter.
Right.
But I hope he comes to his senses, does the right thing. So we'll see how that transpires. But if not, it looks like Salim. I guess Salim's going to get the nod the rest of the year, it sounds like, and I guess A.B. Salem's going to be a third.
And now, is Mavora really not going to pitch the rest of the year?
Yeah, he doesn't have the confidence to pitch, and I don't even know if this team has the confidence for him to pitch. And I think if they're going to go with the 4 outfielders, especially if Jackie Added is not 100% now, so they're going to need him in the outfield. So, and I really, they've played much better since he's gotten out in the outfield, and so that might be the route they have to go.
By the way, the 4 outfielder thing is working for that team. And I didn't like it in the beginning. I don't like 4 outfielders in general so much, but it's working. They don't have fast outfielders, so they have the 4.
So.
But I guess if Salim pitches, A.B. Salem becomes the third baseman. I know he's done a good job for them, but they're just so much stronger if they have. I don't know. The truth, I don't have the answers for them. I don't know what they're going to do. Yeah. But it sounds like Salim is going to be their pitcher. He doesn't walk anybody.
No, he doesn't walk. He'll be the first one to tell you. He's just going to lob it over if he gets behind and let the defense rely on the defense. But he's a great fielder up the middle, so you get you benefit from that. So let's talk about that matchup. What do you say? How do you see that one coming down?
The truth is, I have not seen Legion of Boom at all. I'm just judging them by their record, but I do see that they have 2 wins in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Against Untouchables and against Brooklyn, against decent teams.
Yeah.
Also, if you're telling me Jackie Haddad's not there, that's a big
he's not
loss.
Here this week. Yeah,
so that's a big loss for them. The whole Nemi situation is a problem. Who knows if they're even going to play him if he apologizes? I don't know how.
Well, I think right now they have no choice. They need him.
Right.
It's
so tough because what do you think?
I'm going with a split. I just don't think either team is good enough to sweep. But if I would say if there is a sweep, I think it's going to be Legion of Boom.
Yeah, I like what you said before, that they're having fun and they're banging the fence.
They're all there. They show up and they're loud. They're together. This kid Ralph Sutton's a battler. I like the way he approaches the game.
I like your scouting report from Legion. I'm going to go with Legion of Boom. The first time in that team's history to sweep the Old Men of Summer.
Whoa. All right, my first choice is split, but if there was a sweep, it's definitely.
I like the whole thing of them having fun and being loud. That's my type of team.
Yeah.
I like it.
And they're coming around. Zach Ashkenazi's coming along. Eshko's hitting a little bit. So I think they might be just, peaking at the right time. The other teams started off early. I think they could be, and if they go 6-8, they're really right in the middle of.
They're 3-9.
They'll be 5-9. They'll be ahead. I guess it depends on what the other teams do.
Right.
But, so let's shoot over to Memorial 1 with a big matchup. Brooklyn versus the Astros with Stevie Azer on the mound.
Wow. Wow. I know what I'm picking.
You got to go with the Astros. I can't.
I think Brooklyn got a huge win. Their losing streak is over. I love Allie. Jimmy with Allie in the same lineup. Stevie Azer on the mound. Memorial 1 feature game. Astros always find a way to get it done, but I do feel they're getting a little lucky this year, to tell you the truth, and that's part of it. You need a little luck, but I think Brooklyn sweeps the Astros this week.
Well, that's a heavy statement because that's really, if that is the case, because then the Astros end the season versus Helter Skelter and the Rockies, so they're going to be, they're going to be struggling the rest of the way. If that's.
By the way, they're facing Azer, then they're facing the best ERA in the last couple of years in Meyer, and then Ralph Hannon. They're tough pitching on the way out.
With tough teams, so I think it's going to be a split. Again, are they going to, find their offense? Eshko's a guy you can hit, definitely. But they're going to be able to. Is Azer going to be able to hold down the Astros? Which is.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Azer's awesome, man.
No, he's great.
Azer's great.
I see a split.
The question is Allie and Jimmy going to break out?
Yeah.
And I think they can against this team.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Definitely a big week for them.
Especially Allie's very friendly with Saban and all these guys, and he's going to have a big game against these guys. Solly, they're all there. They're all watching.
So now let's talk about Memorial 3, I believe, right now. Untouchables clearly struggling versus the Rockies. So it really does not get any easier for
Wow, that's not a good matchup.
for the Untouchables.
Oh man, that's rough. That's rough because they need a win and they're facing a good team.
But I think they're going to pull out one victory.
They beat good teams. They play good against good teams.
It's a good team, so I can't look at them and say they're a real 2-10 team or whatever. I think they're going to pull out one victory.
Me too.
In this game, so I think it's going to be a split.
I'm with you.
I just don't. First of all, the Rockies, they're so far ahead. Like they might just coast a little bit the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have lost 2 games yesterday, the Rockies. So definitely, I think Untouchables are going to find a way to win a game.
So do I. Somehow, some way, they have to win one. Otherwise, they're really in trouble.
Yeah. So now we mentioned. We'll leave yours for last. We have the Cardinals coming off a doubleheader loss at 5-7 versus Helter Skelter, coming in at 8-4. Now we don't know which Cardinal team is going to show up. So
they switch each week, so they're supposed to sweep now.
They do this week. I mean, they can explode at any time, and and you have Myers Safety and Helter Skelter coming off 3 out of 4 losses. But I think they're going to rebound this week.
What matchups this week?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think they're going to rebound. I don't know if they're going to sweep because they don't really explode Helter Skelter. So I think it's going to be a split.
Wow. The matchups this week are very tough for me. I don't know why. They're really all very close. I gotta go with what I'm seeing from the Cardinals, which is each week a different story, very streaky. They win game 1, they automatically win game 2. They sweep or get swept. Helter Skelter's in a little bit of a losing streak. I'm going Cardinals. Sweep Helter Skelter.
Wow. Well, you always love to go against Max Simon.
Douglas Dweck also. You can't pick Dougie.
They had a little turmoil yesterday also, a little incident.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Cardinals incident.
Speak up, an outdoors remote location.
Ariel Beavis, the newly acquired
I did not get
had issues with Max Yadid.
Really?
Yeah, and had to be separated on the mound.
What was the issue?
I don't know. He thought he said something about him. He was actually talking about another guy on the team, and he took offense and he shoved him.
Right. He was talking about the other Ariel Beavis.
So Eddie Bichon had to play peacemaker on top of his other duties of arguing with the umps. So not a good day. A lot of action on Fireman's East yesterday.
Oh my God! By the way, we kept hearing action, but you can't see it so far. You don't know who's screaming with who, and it's Haber and Michon, so you really can't know who's screaming.
Yeah, it was definitely. You had to expect it with those situations. I mean, you had issues with Maurice Haber when you played.
And Michon. I had issues with both of them.
So, the final matchup we're going to talk about, I think, is a classic matchup. 2 red-hot teams. Hebrew Nationals versus the Indians.
Great matchup. I'm so excited.
Now you're going up against A.B. Saka.
Yeah.
And it's it's going to be. You talk about low-scoring games. I think this is going to be.
How many innings is the question? How many innings?
I don't know what umps are going to want to work this game because they don't get paid overtime. But
by the way, our games go so fast.
Yeah, it's true.
If we ended at 7,
the scorekeepers are happy.
It's crazy. The game flies. It's a 40-minute game, but it's 2-all. So now it goes for another 10 innings.
But it's going to be interesting because 2, like we said, not great offenses, 2 great pitchers, 2 great defenses. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you might have a great bit of news on your hands.
What's that?
I believe ABJ is not going to be here this week.
Really?
Yeah, from what I'm told.
Really?
Yeah.
Who would they put in center?
I would have to say, Roditi. Who's the other options they have on that team?
I know they've been playing Morris Cohen sometimes in right.
Right. And who's the left?
They got Roditi for outfield.
And who's the other? Oh, Solly S. could play center field.
Solly S. is going to play center.
Yeah. So, but that's a huge break.
Those 3 could probably be the outfield if AB's not coming.
Yeah.
I assume.
So.
Right? Because Mocass is not an outfielder. He's infielder. And Moni, the return of Moni, by the way.
Actually playing great shortstop.
I love him.
Tell you.
I love him.
Shortstop, wearing shirts where I don't know where he finds these outfits from. collage of colors yesterday and prints, but he's playing great shortstop, by the way.
Yeah,
he surprised me. And,
I questioned him in the beginning
yeah.
of the year, but I'm happy I was able to fuel him to have a phenomenal year and be a candidate for Gold Glove at shortstop.
For sure.
From what I'm
no
hearing.
question about it. He's playing very good short. I guess obviously ABJ changed the dynamics not being there.
Is that for sure, by the way?
I was told, yeah.
Wow, that's big.
If he's away or what, but
so many guys each week. Every time we play a team,
bonafide stars are missing every week. But I guess better now than in the postseason.
Right.
But I still think they're going to find a way to win one game. I think it's going to be a split. I think AB Saki, just give him the ball and put 9 puppets out there. He'll find a way to get the win, But so he'll keep him in one of the games at least.
I agree with you. The games will be tight because every game I've played has been tight. But I'm from Cleveland, and I always got to pick my tribe. And I think we're going to find a way to get it done. I think we're really clicking right now, and we're really gearing for the final third of the season.
Yeah. It should be very intense with Mikey and AB Zach on the.
When we were talking about AB, I was going to bring up Mikey because they're very, very similar. Neither of them felt they got the respect they should have gotten early on in the league, and both of them have won championships. AB has won 2. Mikey looking for his second as a pitcher, although he has 2. And both of them very fiery, but I know my brother Jacob caught AB Saka a couple of years ago, and he said he's an unbelievable guy to play with.
Yeah.
So they're very, very similar. If you're on their team, you gotta love them, and you gotta love your chances.
And I'll tell you, he was coming in yesterday with some smoke.
Ralph Hannon was pitching so hard yesterday.
Yeah.
He was pitching faster than I remember him pitching, really hard.
I'll tell you, Ralph Hannon to me, really is the only pitcher you can honestly say that has an unbelievable bat. I mean,
Mavora's got the bat, but he's no longer a pitcher.
And AB Sack is not really he's a hitter. But
he's tough. He's tough.
But he's not really. He doesn't put up.
Remember the World Series, but he didn't get out. He's a tough out. And remember what Mikey did for the Expos in the postseason last year. He didn't get out. These guys, it's tough. But you're right. Ralph Hannon, both ends on the mound and hitting is fierce.
Yeah, he's a tremendous power hitter, and he's finally getting it together this year. So they're
the Rockies are tough, man.
Yeah.
Sammy Towell runs a tight ship over there.
I heard the defense was amazing. Louis Franco played great.
He robbed me, the bastard.
Oh, that was you?
It was me.
What was it, diving catch?
It was 6-4. We had bases loaded in the last inning. About to break the game open over there. Right center gap.
Yeah.
Beautiful shot. Would have scored 3 runs. Guy dives, full extension, catches the ball. The team goes crazy. Thank God we won the game anyway.
Wow.
But come on, I could use the hit. Let's go.
3 RBIs you could have used also.
Oh, desperately.
And JT said played great.
JT's great.
Who's in left? Leo. Leo's in left field. So.
Leo made a good play. He threw somebody out at third.
Very solid team. And the infield with Sammy anchoring first. Sammy Insane plays full-time second.
No, their infield was shaky, by the way. Jordy was injured. He didn't fully.
He didn't play at all.
He did. He came in the end of the first game. He played the second.
The infield did not look good yesterday.
The infield was definitely shaky.
Sammy Sutton was on second, and who was?
Jody was up the middle.
Yeah.
They had Victor Dweck at short until Jordy came into the game. Sammy Insane at second, like you said. The infield was definitely shaky. At third, I was coaching third the whole game. Who was I talking to all day? I'm drawing a complete blank, but he was good. He made a wild play on a.
Is it Nathan Matesh? No.
It's Nathan Matesh.
Yeah, Nathan Matesh.
My brother hit a rocket down the line. He made a great play.
By the way, Nathan Matesh, one of the great third basemen, could actually play shortstop also.
By the way, Norman Gaz made a phenomenal play in short center yesterday. Ball's hit in no man's land.
Did he smother it like
Baldur? Dude, it was a high pop. It was a high pop in no man's land. Bermuda triangle behind short center. The left fielder was playing way deep with men on in a tight game. Eddie Risty, Norman Gaz, and the left fielder Murray all running into each other or whatever. And Norman Gaz in the last second called it, held on to the ball, falling backwards. Unbelievable play.
He falls back when he walks also, so
he smothers everything. Great teammate. Great pick late in the draft.
Yeah, and it's good to keep your phone off the hook during the week also. That was He likes to voice his opinions.
Well, he's very upset that the standings were not updated on your website. He was very upset that there was no show last week as well.
Yeah,
But
he's one of the
20 million fans that were upset about that.
He hosts a party every week.
Yes, he hosts a huge viewing party.
So yeah, he likes to voice his opinions.
By the way, what happened to Dash? I haven't seen him. He doesn't. Where is he?
Dash is playing Central Park League, actually. So
big loss. I forgot about him, but now that you're talking about the viewing party, it made me think of Dash.
You know, it's funny you mentioned Dash because there's been rumblings within the Boys of Summer organization.
No way.
Yeah, if Nemi doesn't come back, they might reach out to Dash and see if they could come to terms.
Wow.
So you know, he could be playing hard to get, but who knows? We'll see what.
Ike Norwood involved in the controversy of the pitching change. That puts him, he's playing 4 weeks in the league. He's been involved in 4 controversies. He's dropped around 6 infield flies on purpose. He's just wreaking a lot of havoc.
Did it work yet or no?
It worked once against the Astros, but the book is out on that play. I think it's time for something else now.
It only works when you have a guy like Russell Mano who doesn't know the rules.
Right.
It'd be good for that. But Norman, good luck this week.
Thank you.
It should be another, as we mentioned.
Where are we playing my game? Do you know?
Well, with the
to be announced.
That too.
Okay.
TBA, we're gonna, you know, if the ticket demand is as high as last week, we might have to relocate it.
Bobby, the Indians, special announcement. There's only 6 games left. We're offering special 6-pack tickets.
Yeah. Oh.
So you could buy them at a really, really good price. You could attend all the remaining games. It comes with a free parking pass. So check up on our website for more details on that, Bobby. Thank you.
Back to you. Nothing with the Legion seats, like with food. No.
That you need to be a season ticket holder. That's reserved for Joe Zaccaria, RVJ. Those guys got the legend seats with the.
By the way,
food.
Joe Zaccaria giving RVJ a run for his money is
fan of the year. Ted Beta attended a game last week at Logan,
I saw that, yeah.
And he's coming this week as well. And Jacob Jamal's been oh my God, every week he's been attending the games.
Yeah, Jacob Jamal been attending, but definitely Josie making appearances all over the place.
And so many members of Pre-Nursery 103.
Oh yes.
David Abadi, Paulette Jamal. Love seeing these guys. Harry Shalom.
Yeah, we might have to get a Mora here next week.
Yes.
Watch out, some of these crowds over here. So I'd like to wish all our viewers a happy Shavuot.
Yes, Festival
everybody.
of Weeks, yes.
And we'll see you coming down to the nitty-gritty, and good luck to all the teams, and we'll see you next week.
You got it. Great show.
All right, thank you.